Hi everybody. Welcome to Monthly Night Live. It's been a while. It's been a wild and crazy month for us.
Has it been a month?
It's been a month.
Has it been a month since we saw everyone? Hello from Tennessee. So we have been sitting here, like all of you, watching all of the graphics play through and reading where everyone is coming from, and I was thrilled. I always have this goal or this idea that one of these days we're gonna cover every single state on one of these lives. And the one state I thought was always gonna be tough was Alaska. And we have someone from Alaska here tonight, which just tickled me pink. We also saw lots of friends coming from all over the country, including Chicago, Texas, Philadelphia. So it's so really, really wonderful to see you all here tonight. Thank you for joining us.
We are live both on Facebook and YouTube. So if you're commenting and you don't see a comment that we brought up, it's probably on the other platform. But if you comment on either platform, we'll see it. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of people on already, which is awesome. So hopefully we'll be able to get to most of your comments. But tonight is kind of an Ask Us Anything. But we're going to start with just kind of sharing where we've been and what we've been up to for the last month.
Yeah, so last time we did a live, which actually we did kind of an impromptu live a few weeks ago when we were in Montgomery, Alabama, and we were faced with some severe weather that was coming, and we had made the decision to go to a hotel for the night. Well, thankfully, all of that turned out okay. We came home to our RV exactly how we left it, and everyone who had stayed in the campground stayed safe. We really lucked out because just a little west of us, they did have quite a bit of tornado damage. But this coming week, starting today, this week, will be the first week since then that we are not faced with some kind of severe weather. So it's been 3 weeks of just 1 or 2 days that give us a lot of pause. And so I'm really looking forward to this week here in the Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area, because it's going to be in the 70s and 80s. And we are not going to have to worry about whether or not we need to leave our home for the night.
We've been in this area for about a week already, and we came via Chattanooga, and we got to spend a good week in Chattanooga. I had a great time there. I got to go up to Lookout Mountain and visit the National Park Service site up there and stuff. It was fun.
I just want to jump in here and say it's a dream of mine to go up to Alaska someday. And for anyone that has done it, I'm sure it was absolutely fantastic. But I hope that someday we can make it up there. That would be great. So we're glad you're here, though. Thank you for joining us tonight. So anyway, yes, I kind of interrupted you. What were you saying? I forgot.
I was saying we've been in Gatlinburg for a week or so in this area, not in Gatlinburg, but in this area. But on our way here, we stopped in Chattanooga for about a week and got to see some of the sites there. We stayed at the really nice Chester Frost campground, which is a
Frost. It's a state. No, not a state. It's a city or county.
I think it's a
park.
county run park.
Yes. So good. So I shared over on the Our Wandering Family Instagram page. I shared a picture of one of the sunsets from our campsite, and it was gorgeous. But what was really cool about this place is that it really felt sort of like its own little land. So they had rangers on duty. They often had someone driving around patrolling. The office was very, very hands-on in the sense that you could contact them at any time if you needed something. There were multiple playgrounds. There was plenty of water activities. There was laundry on site. There was frisbee golf. There was even an old-timey plaque with a little old-timey house. So I loved that. And then on our very last day, because we left on a Monday, and that Saturday we had storms again. just awful storm Saturday into Sunday, and Sunday morning there's so much rain that it was just coming straight down, and then the wind kicked in, and it was about 5:30, and I ended up getting up because, we all know that tornado, warnings are kind of crap, and you don't get them until the tornado's sitting on top of you. So I got up just to kind of make sure things were going to be okay. But later that day, there was over in the pavilion, which was just kind of across from our campsite and over in a field, this whole collection of like bluegrass players showed up just for like a jam session. They were just getting together. And so for 3 hours, we had the gentle wafting sounds of these amazing musicians. I mean, they could sing harmony like nobody's business. We had violins, we had banjo, acoustic guitar. I think there might have even been a keyboardist. And they just played for us for like 3 hours. All kinds of music.
It was really nice.
It was super nice. So we cannot recommend that campground enough. Like, if you find yourself wanting to go to Chattanooga, Chester Frost Campground, that's your place.
Susie mentioned that Nanner Puddin' Moonshine, which she suggested to us a long time ago. Now, so I went to...
Isn't that the same company?
They didn't have any. They were out of the Nanner Puddin', so I haven't tried it yet, but I've twice now gotten the butter pecan moonshine, which
let me see. Hold on here.
Very good.
So this is one of our favorites, and this is, like Jason said, this is their butter pecan.
Coffee.
You can kind of see we're already down to about like here, and we just bought it a few days ago. Because Jason was like, "Well, I'll just put this in my coffee in the morning, and that's fine." So we're also, while we're here, planning to go over to Sugarlands. That's been recommended to us like several times. So if anyone's been there, let us know. But yeah, so we'll have to see if we can look out for the Nanner Puddin'. Do you want to grab another question?
This is an Ask Us Anything, so let's hit some questions.
Yeah.
Let's start out here with Lorraine wants to know why we gave up our Schoolie. And that's really sad for us right now, especially because this is the time of year that it happened. This is where we sold it.
Yeah. This is true.
My mother lives in this area, so this is where we sold it, and
we drove past the dealership where we bought
where
Ramo,
and where we bought this trailer.
Where we bought Ranger Handoff Trailey, the second working title.
The engine on our Schoolie was not happy, and it needed a rebuild. And a rebuild on one of those big medium truck engines like that is quite expensive. It was going to be at least $12,000 for a rebuild, and we bought the bus for $3,000, and we probably put another 15 or more into it. And it was just not a traveling bus anymore. But we knew it had life in it still, so we really tried to find somebody who would be interested in taking it to be like a tiny home where they could live on a piece of property. And we found a gentleman who bought it to be his home on a piece of farmland and sold it to him. So we were happy that it could still have a life beyond us and not go to the scrapper.
And I wanted to acknowledge it. I didn't want to highlight it because I didn't want to seem vain, but I wanted to say thank you to the individual that commented.
The one that said you look pretty?
I was going to said something about the hair, and I just wanted to say that this is only because I took a shower at midnight last night and was too...
That's always good when you take a shower and sleep on wet hair, and it always looks great the next day.
I was too lazy to do anything with it other than braid it and just go to bed. And then about an hour ago, I took it out of the braid that it's been in for about 18 hours. And this is what the result is this weird, funky thing. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for saying that. And I saw it, and I really appreciated that. That was really nice.
Jim wants suggestions about suspension upgrades on a Silverado.
I'll be over here. I'll just be over here drinking while you do that, because
he's having some
territory.
porpoising issues, which is when you get this happening, and we've all felt that, and we particularly have all felt that in Louisiana, where all the elevated roads over the bayous. There's wherever the joints in the roads are. There's lots of that going on. But
hold on.
They make sippy cup lids for that.
The moonshine really the smell of it really builds up in the bottle.
In the bottle, so
and
you
then
just
when
went
you
right in.
stick your nose into it, you get quite a.
Well, Jim, I'm no expert, so maybe somebody in the comments can help you out a little bit. But I will say that make sure that your trailer itself is balanced before anything. A lot of people say put as much weight on the front of your trailer as possible, and that's going to keep you from swaying. You do want to be front heavy, but you don't want to have it totally front heavy. So you might have a situation where you need to shift some weight around and get that trailer riding flat and level. Maybe airbags is in your future to help level out your truck. That might help. I'm not totally sure, but it's a little out of my realm of expertise, other than to say try the cheap things first.
Okay, we're live, and I'm just gonna look. I have no shame. I'm gonna throw this out here. So when people were saying airbags, they weren't talking about the airbags that the truck comes with.
No, not safety airbags. Airbag. These are airbags that go under in your rear suspension that help level out the truck when there's too much weight on the back, when it is squatted too much.
I thought people were just talking about our airbags and they wanted us to inflate them. Oh my god, I was so...
Woo! Why don't you have a drink of that?
I was so embarrassed.
Hi, Kim. It's good to see you guys again.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, let's move on. Grab another question.
Dave, it's good to see you. Dave, how much boondocking do you guys do compared to campgrounds?
Not much.
In this last year, since COVID began, we have done not a ton of boondocking. We did a lot more before COVID, but since COVID began, we've done a lot more long-term stays at commercial campgrounds, because that's just kind of the most affordable thing for a long-term stay. So we've done a lot of monthly stays in the past year plus. We're looking forward to doing more boondocking this year, hopefully. Though, it's always a challenge. It's a double-edged sword right now. When camping is very busy right now, people are really booking campgrounds like crazy. So you've got two choices. You say to yourself, well, I'm going to boondock then. Or you say, I'm going to book a campground as early as possible so that I make sure that I've got something. So
Can't find anything in this place.
We're kind of in the middle of doing some of that. But so our boondocking is usually limited to 3-4 days at a time. And it's usually in between destinations. That's kind of how we like to do it. We'll go to a campground, either a government campground or a private campground for a week to 2 weeks, and then in between destinations, we'll boondock from 1 to 4 or 5 days. That's generally what we do. We'd like to do more, but as a family of 5, filling the water tanks is a thing. We were able to do it more in the bus because of our composting toilet that we had in the bus, which really helped out.
I have to say though, I'm a little nervous about boondocking in 2021 because I'm worried we're never going to find anything. And then...
Yeah, those folks with the little rigs are going to have a great time boondocking this year. The folks with the big rigs, the popular boondocking spaces are going to be real busy. Pam, hi Pam, it's good to see you again. Did your leak fix hold? Yes, it did. We finally figured out where our leak was. It was not... Cheers. It was not the slide. Even though the water, the bottom of our slide was getting wet, the leak was actually from a seam adjacent to the slide and was sort of traveling along a very small piece of carpet that is cut off underneath the wall behind the carpet. Underneath and behind the wall. So the water was like soaking into that carpet strip that is literally under the wall, and there's no carpet in front of it, and it was soaking along and going into the slide. It's a very strange thing. But we figured it out, and it is held, and it is fine, and now we need a new piece of trim.
Yes. So let's grab. First off, thanks everyone for jumping in with these comments. I love when we do kind of like a smorgasbord, ask us anything, or can we say a charcuterie? I can't even say the word.
No, keep going.
No, stop. Stop. How do you say it?
Charcuterie. Charcuterie. I can't say it right. Now I'm apprehensive because you...
I know, because I got you on live. I'm trying to talk to you about a pretty cheese and meat.
A cheese board.
You're probably wondering if we had started drinking before even this started. We have not. We are so tired. Like we said on the podcast, if you've listened to RV Miles, which just came out this afternoon, we said, oh, we've recorded this early because we're taking a week off. 50% off from work. We're going to be in the Smokies and in a cabin, or taking some time off. I am so tired from that vacation. I need a vacation from the vacation. I am exhausted. And also, as I've mentioned, Eastern Standard Time is really...
Kicks our butt.
It's really messing with us more than I think it ever has. And actually, I think it's messing more with you and I. Like, the kids are like, whatever, I'll sleep till 9, I'll sleep till 10,
I'll go to bed at midnight and sleep till 10, yeah. And they're fine with it.
They're like, whatever, I don't gotta work. But, like, I can't seem to get to bed at a decent hour, and then I try to get up, and I can't, and then I sleep in too late, and then it's like, oh my gosh, the whole day is gone. I just need to get back on Central Standard Time. So anyway, thank you for sharing your questions and also just your insight tonight with us.
This one's in all caps, so that means it's important.
Yeah.
We are part-time RVers right now, want to go full-time, but with the new technologies always come out, when do we know that we are at a plateau enough to pull the plug and get our full-time RV? So this is a question that comes up a lot, and you'll especially see this in people buying trucks. I've seen that a lot this year, and because we bought a new truck this year, so I've been in a lot of like truck Facebook groups and stuff, and there's lots of talking about when the next model year trucks come out, what's going to be different on them, and a lot of people holding out. I'm going to hold out till next year to see what the new technology is, and then they release, the upgrade to next year's truck is a bigger screen in the infotainment center. That kind of stuff. The manufacturers are constantly competing on things like technology, but the technology part of it, almost all of it, it's non-essential, and it always constantly changes. There's always something new and something different every year. It never stops. There's not a plateau. But if you look at an RV built today compared to one built 10 years ago, they're really not that different. So I think the time is right for you when the time is right for you, and don't worry about model years and what upcoming technology there is, and most of the technology you can adapt to anyway. And a lot of the stuff they throw on these things is they're buyer triggers. Like, when they say there's Wi-Fi on board, it's actually not that good, and it's just a way for you to buy their Wi-Fi plan. When they say there's, a built-in gizmo gadget thing that you could pick up anywhere and have plugged in, that's just generally not stuff to worry about right now.
No, and
unless you got a lot of money to spend.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we've been doing this for 5 years as full-timers, and certainly the technology today is not what we started with when we started full-timing. And if we had waited to get to this point, well, then that would have been 5 years that we missed out on potentially. So I think, as Jason said, I think that it's not so much about waiting for what's going to come out, because we're always waiting for the next thing, right? Like, we'll spend our lives waiting. Don't wait. Like, if it's something that you feel strongly about it's a dream that you have, and it's something that you can do responsibly and realistically, who cares about all the other technology? It's always going to change. It's always going to be
Yeah.
different. Like, we're never going to plateau.
What's
never.
happening in general, the technology improvements are generally like better control systems every year, a little bit better air conditioning. It's incremental. The different technologies that they all come with are just getting better every year, and it's not like, oh, there's this new real big thing that we should be using. The thing that is moving faster than anything is battery technology, but you can change your batteries out whenever.
Just because, you guys are all really adorable, and the concern that I need to step away from the moonshine, like, it's very adorable. I just want to point out, though, I have a lot left in here. This guy's done.
Look.
Okay.
All right. This is not like the clear moonshine. This is 17% alcohol.
I mean, I also know he's a little bit bigger than I am, but I'm just saying.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
We have another question. Are you aware of any RV-friendly places just outside of Chicago? Why, yes, we are. We are aware of a few of them, having stayed in them ourselves. And the one that we would recommend over and over again is there's 5 total, but the Forest Preserve of Cook County Campgrounds.
Some of them are very small campgrounds. They don't have many sites. I think the biggest one is Bullfrog Lake.
And that is on the southwest side, I believe, kind of closer to the Midway Airport.
They're all brand new and gorgeous.
They were 5 years ago.
Well, they were 5 years ago, but they're still they're all gorgeous.
Yeah. So you can find it's going to be Forest Preserve Campgrounds inside Cook County. Chicago is in Cook County, but there are also several other cities in Cook County as well. So these are going to be campgrounds in those forest preserves in the suburbs. Yes, son.
You can also check out the if for a quick stay in not a fantastic place but a decent place, the Joliet Casino, the Hollywood Casino in Joliet has a campground.
Did you just say Joliet?
Joliet, whatever you want to call it.
Joliet.
The Hollywood Casino has a campground. It's not a lot of frills, except for the fact that it is also attached to their hotel there, and you get the free breakfast that the people staying in the hotel get as well.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
So that's fairly convenient to get into the city, and a lot of people then stay in northwestern Indiana, where you can hop on one of the commuter trains and ride into the city.
That is not just outside of Chicago.
Well,
I mean, like, if we're talking about how close can you get to Chicago without being in Chicago, the forest preserve's about as close as you're going to get. Everyone says the Chicago KOA is where you stay.
That's very far away.
That KOA is 90 minutes. Just
on a good day with good traffic.
Now, I will say that the smaller one, and gosh, the name is escaping me, that I believe was on the northeast suburb to get into Chicago. That is about a 45-minute to an hour drive, but that's still about the closest you're going to get.
They're all going to be a decent drive. The reason I suggested possibly northwestern Indiana is that you wouldn't have to drive. Like, if you take those commuter trains, and a lot of people don't want to drive in Chicago. Now, if you did want to stay in Chicago, there is one option. The McCormick Place, which is the big convention center, does allow you for about, I think it's $30 a night. It might have gone up.
Yeah.
You can dry camp there on the in the marshalling yards where they park all the semi trucks.
Yeah. So
and that's downtown.
Yeah. And it's still going to cost you $35 a night. There's nothing. You will have no dump station. You will have nothing. You're just going to be paying for a slab of concrete.
But you're a 5-minute away from Michigan Avenue.
Yeah. So, we absolutely encourage anyone that's interested in going to Chicago and wanting to do an RV. You absolutely can do it. We love Chicago. I don't think that's a secret. We love our hometown. We think it has one of the best downtown tourist areas you're going to find anywhere. And in the summer, nothing beats a Chicago summer.
Yeah, I mean, the beaches in Chicago are secretly awesome.
Secretly.
A lot of people don't realize that Chicago even has beaches. There's a ton of them.
Yeah, and we love them, and we've had some of our best memories made there in Chicago. So, next question. Do you prefer the travel trailer over the Schoolie? Yes and no.
Yeah, there are pluses and minuses for sure.
Do we like the... how do we word this? What's the best way to...
Well...
It's the best way to... Okay, I'll say this. I miss the personalization of the Schoolie. Now, we could have personalized this. We decided not to. Yeah. We absolutely still could. We decided not to when we picked it up almost 2 years ago because we were coming off of 3 years of owning a Schoolie and we had already gone through a reno. And basically, we just wanted something we could walk into and immediately start living in. We didn't have to lay down flooring and we didn't have to paint and rip off wallpaper and, do all that stuff. I do miss that the Schoolie, I think, was really encompassed us. Okay, it encompassed colors we love. It was our design. It was...
The windows it was all the light from all the windows was fantastic.
Miss all that. We did not have running water. We had it all plumbed.
We lived for 3 years without running water.
We had it all plumbed. Well, never finished it out. Could you imagine trying to get through COVID? In that Schoolie, we would have been living at my mom and dad's house, or renting a place for sure. So having something like having a bathtub is huge. We actually have a bathtub in this trailer, which is great. Henry loves the bathtub. I love the bathtub. Having running water, that's awesome. Having a propane fridge, because in the Schoolie we had
an electric fridge.
Yeah, we had an apartment size refrigerator. So having this refrigerator, which is considerably smaller, but can run on electric or propane, huge deal.
We're also way more comfortable on drive days. In the truck.
So much more comfortable.
It was very loud in the Schoolie.
It was so loud.
And now we're all in a cushy truck, and that's
well, then we have air conditioning.
Well, so there's that. Well, we had air conditioning, but not when we drove.
Okay, and let me say the other thing, too. So we had a portable air conditioner in Bussy, and here we have ducted AC.
And that makes all the difference in the world.
So much difference. But I do really miss our bedroom.
Our bed was great.
I miss our bedroom. I do miss the way that the boys' room was laid out in the Schoolie. It did make it so much easier for them to access things. I do miss that I didn't really have to worry about how much stuff we had in the Schoolie, whereas now I always have to think about that anytime we get something new. But overall, it's really hard to compare the two because, one really represented the beginning of our journey and the beginning of our life on the road, and that was Bussy, and she kept us safe for 3 years. And then the trailer really represented a place of healing because, shortly after we got it, Jason became sick, and then we spent months going nowhere while he healed and while he recuperated here. And then shortly after that, we got hit with COVID. And so this trailer really represents, I feel like, to us, like safety and a place to heal, whereas Bussy was the key to our adventure. So it's hard to compare the two because we love them both so much, and we're getting into a season again where, everything's going to change again for us. So, there's a lot of emotions that go with that too when you let one thing go in order to better yourselves with something else and to have a new adventure. It's really it's going to be wild. It's going to be wild.
All right, let's go to this one from James. You mentioned during your chat about trailer sway that you had to turn off the electronic sway control on the F350. Can you explain what was happening and why it was better to turn it off? All right. So here's my hypothesis about what was going on for us. Sway wasn't actually our issue. See, the on our truck came with these Wrangler Duratrack tires. They're huge and they're a little squirrely until they get worn in, from what I've heard from a lot of people. And I think that squirreliness was causing the electronic sway control to think that the trailer was swaying. So what was happening is the electronic sway control applies brake pressure and adjusts the power going to different wheels to stop sway. And it was just fighting with itself constantly. And once I turned it off, it was like night and day difference. It totally different. And I think that's why you can turn it off. You know, why it is an option that you can turn on and off on the Fords based on you actually set it per trailer that you set up, or you can turn it off overall. So I think what was happening is that we're just constantly getting this brake pressure applied to the rear wheels to try to stop sway that was actually just causing the whole thing to be squirrely, for lack of a better term. Because the trailer wasn't starting to do this. We were just feeling it do this,
I'll
right?
stay over here.
So I think the electronic sway control probably works really well on the stock vehicles, on the base stock vehicles, but with this Tremor package with the larger wheels and these Duratrack tires, before they got worn in, now they're worn in and they're a lot better.
So
I think that made all the difference in the world for us.
we still haven't named the truck, by
Yeah.
the way. We, I'm sure you guys all know we had Ramo. So original. We're such an original crew.
Yeah, the kids wanted to do Fordo. It's great. Or 40.
No. So someone had actually suggested the Treminator to us, which that's actually
That's
really...
still I think that's the leading candidate.
It's
right
really
there.
stuck with me. And then for a while we had Tonka. We talked about that because it was going to play two ways. The Tatanka, which is the Native American word for bison, and that would call to our love of national parks and nature, but then also the fact Tonka trucks, and we thought that was cute. But it's not sticking.
I'm sure lots of other people have done that too. So
well, I'm sure a lot of people have done Terminator too. I can't imagine that that's super original, but we haven't been able to come up with anything. And I was thinking about it, and I think it's just because what the truck is for is not here yet. And I think once the two are together, then it'll make more sense. But like we've almost gone now 2 months and we haven't named the thing. So we just keep calling it the truck because that's all we got for it. So if you have a cute name and you want to throw it out there, that would be awesome. I wanted to grab a question though. Where did it go?
I don't know. You're going the wrong way.
I'm going the wrong way.
Yes.
Oh no! And I just did something to this computer. Stop.
You touching. We can't both touch the touchpad at one time. You got two hands on the touchpad, and I got one on it.
Yes. Listen. I'm just saying. Okay. Here we go. This is what I wanted to grab from Dan. Okay. Sorry. That's the challenges of boondocking.
The challenge is that it's not just that there are more RVers out there. There are a lot of new people RVing, but people that have been RVing for a while. RVing has been really growing for the last several years. In fact, 2017 is still the number one year for RV sales so far. So it's been really growing over the past several years. So what's happening now is that RVers are using their RVs more, and all these people that have recently bought RVs are getting more comfortable with things like boondocking, particularly as they're forced into it, as it's harder and harder to get campgrounds. But they're learning about harvest hosts. They're learning about Boondockers Welcome. They're figuring all this stuff out, which is great. But the boondocking areas that are popular, those ones are, those ones are going to be packed. And especially the ones that don't take you too deep into the national forest or the BLM land or whatever, those and the ones near national parks, they're going to be very busy for most of this year. And And the big challenge, the thing that currently concerns us the most is that number of people is going to cause more litter and more garbage and all that sort of stuff. And we've already seen Bureau of Land Management close down a couple camping areas, a couple boondocking areas to camping already outside of Reno. Most of those issues were like homeless camping issues, but I think we're probably going to see more of that because the Bureau of Land Management owns like a third of the land in this country. That's a number off the top of my head. I don't know if it's exactly that, but it's a lot of land. It's probably more like an eighth of the land in this country, and their staff is so tiny. You know, like one ranger per 1,000 acres. So they don't have the ability to police the fact that people are staying more than the 2 weeks and all that sort of stuff. All that stuff's coming together. There's just a lot of people on public lands right now, and more into the summer.
I keep trying to talk, and you.
And I just keep pausing and moving on.
You do. I just wanted to say though, after all of that, at the end of the day, what it really comes down to for us is that the uncertainty of it, because those spots are so popular and because we can't get really far into with bigger rigs, the uncertainty of it, and having 3 kids and wanting to make sure that we don't impart undue stress or worry to them that they're not going to have somewhere to sleep for the night because we show up at, you know, what we were hoping to be as a long stay BLM, and instead, you know, everyone else is there and there's nowhere to go, and, you know, how do you work all of that out? And so that's our component, and that's just personal to us. But I think that that's our biggest driving factor.
Before, even if it was busy, you'd probably be able to find a place to park. Whereas we're hearing reports of people saying, I had to wait a few days to even find a spot to boondock in a certain area.
And just frankly, with everything else that's going on and all the other things that we have to think about, both as individuals, both as a family, and then both as a society as a whole, I kind of don't have the bandwidth for that right now. I kind of don't have the bandwidth for the uncertainty. I have enough just to book the campground right now and just and to get us there and make sure that we get there safely, and you know that's personal to us.
The key is going to be going to places that just aren't popular. That's really what, and because those are going to exist, and that's going to be fine for a lot of people. A lot of people say I have no problem boondocking, but if you're trying to go to like the popular areas by national parks and all that, that's where you'll have issues.
Yeah,
so plug this
yes, we do. So I just wanted to grab this one though, and I'll go do that. But I wanted to say to anyone who's joining us new tonight, we're so very glad that you're here, and thank you for spending some of your time with us. For anyone who has, you know, who continues to come back, first when we were doing it weekly and now when we're doing it monthly, we're also so very glad that you're here as well. Like, it amazes me that so many of you want to spend time with these two yahoos here. I mean, it just blows my mind. So we're so glad that you're here. This is a great question. I'm going to let you do it while I go plug this computer in before it dies.
We lived in Chicago. I worked full time 2 jobs and part time doing random other stuff, and was making what most people would consider a decent amount of money, but living in a town, living in Chicago, it wasn't going very far. So I'm working all that time to essentially not see my family, and I ended up one of those jobs was at a university.
It did feel like a nursery sometimes.
At a university, and my contract was up, so that was ending, and then another one was ending. So we kind of just decided that we needed to change. We needed to do something that was going to help us be together more, and even if it meant taking a hit on income, we needed to be able to be together. I mean, our youngest son had only recently been born, and I hadn't seen him for most of his life. So
yeah, they didn't really have a relationship. Like, Henry didn't want to be left with Daddy. He didn't like to be left with Daddy because he didn't know Daddy. Daddy was like
Daddy's boy.
Yeah. Now they're like this. They're
But
thick as thieves and always getting into trouble.
and we just wanted to be together, and we wanted to build something a little bit different, and we had this idea for our business, and we started it. We started doing web publishing for the theater industry, which is what we were in, and we're working. We realized that we could work from anywhere. The original idea that was that we would just vacation a lot, but then our landlord raised our rent by several $100s a month, and we said no thanks. And we'll just
hard pass.
We'll just move into this RV that we're going to build for ourselves.
Gee, do I want to give you $300 more for this apartment that's not worth it?
It was not a long thought out thing. It was not a 5-year plan thing. It was all right, let's do this now.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work out, we can always go rent another apartment. Right?
Yeah, that has always been our sort of like backup plan. If this doesn't work out, we'll just go rent an apartment. That's what we were doing before we got on the road. If this job doesn't work out, if this career that we started with RV Miles and America's National Parks and See America, well, if that, unfortunately doesn't work out, we had this other business that we were working that unfortunately is still dark because of COVID, and we thought, well, we'll go back into working in theater. That's what we'll do. So, it's always been just, we went into it never having any expectations other than it was just something we dreamt about doing, and it was the right time to do it. And then we started a business on the road having no expectations for it. We never dreamed that something like this that we're doing tonight would actually be anything that anyone would ever be interested in. Like, we never dreamt that was possible. I didn't think a single soul would listen to our podcast because I thought, what can we possibly have to talk about? Apparently we talk way too long. I mean, Jason edits out so much stuff, but not that any of it's interesting, but all of this has always just been born from the fact that we love doing it, and we love the community and what RVing can do for someone's life and what it can do for a family. But we never had any expectations that we would do it for 2 years, or it's only a 3-year thing, or we're only going to do it till Jack goes to college, or we're going to, none of that. We just do it until
we don't.
Yeah, and we will continue to do this until you all tell us you don't want us to do it anymore, and then we'll stop.
All right, we got to whip through some of these comments quickly, or these questions, so we can.
Wait, you don't? This isn't a 2-hour live. We're not here till midnight.
I don't want to answer. I want to get to as many people as we can. So, Susie, do you know where to find out how many new campgrounds or sites have been added each year?
I don't.
It's such a mess, but we do get press releases from time to time from a lot of the state campground associations. Each state has like a chamber of commerce, for lack of a better term, for campgrounds. And so we do hear from time to time, like I think I've mentioned in the past, that Florida is supposedly getting 7,000 new campsites over the course of this year, and that's from January until the end of the year. I got one recently that I think Texas is getting somewhere around 2,500 that those campground associations know of. We're starting to hear about some state parks that are expanding in certain states, and some new state parks. I just heard of a new state park that is going in Texas, and one that's expanding big time with lots of new campsites in Colorado. But there's just no one place where all that information is available. I've been trying to gather it together, but it's hard.
I just want to grab this because I just want to say thank you to Kelly.
Oh, thank you, Kelly.
Kelly, thank you so much. That is, anytime somebody does that, first off, it's not anything that we ever will ask for, or, it's just, that's not kind of how we roll. We always hope to be able to provide free content for everything that we do. And so it's just, we really appreciate that you would take your hard-earned dollars and share them with us. And so I just wanted to say thank you very, very much, and let you know that we saw that and how much we truly appreciate that.
You skipped forward, so I'm going back.
So What are you seeing for campground vacancies since the 2020 RV boom? Every weekend is booked, and I can only get Sunday through Thursdays.
Yeah, popular areas, weekends are booked solid. Lots of people doing the same thing they do every year, which is book a whole bunch of public campground sites that they don't plan on using, that they're gonna drop at the last minute. But because they've had such a hard time getting them, they'll just book the whole 2-week window they can get, and then another one or whatever it is, and then they'll decide later once they request time off from work and all that sort of stuff whether they're going to use it. And there's going to be a lot of cancellations, but there's also a lot of stuff booked up.
Which is tough because it's hard to wait to the very, very last minute. Like, I don't have anything booked from April 11th to April 26th right now, and I got to figure all that out. I had a whole bunch of stuff. We're making our way towards Charleston, but we're not supposed to be in Charleston until the 26th. So I need to figure all of that out. And the few places I've been looking at, same story over and over and over, no weekend availability. So that's a little rough.
Whitney wants to know about USB-C and replacing USB-A cables or connections in the RV to USB-C. You can do that yourself. You can find them really easy to change out, real super easy. And generally, the ones that they have put in most RVs are garbage anyway and charge very, very slowly. So,
although, I mean, we keep our Mobley plugged into that one.
Right, but it won't. If you try to charge a phone on it, it takes a year.
Oh, no. You don't charge the phone.
Exactly.
No.
You should be able to.
You don't charge a Kindle. I'd like to say hi to Rick because he said hi.
Hi, Rick.
Hi, Rick. It's good to see you here. I saw my dad is here. Your dad is here.
Yeah. We have lots of family and
we
friends
do.
here.
I don't. What is my dad asking you?
He has asked if those were the Duratrack tires, and yes, they are.
Oh, okay.
This one.
Yes.
What new tech gadgets do you anticipate for the travel trailer? We are, we're not ready to say what it is yet, but we will be. We're not going to be those people that drag that out forever.
No.
But we are getting a new trailer. As soon as the deal is finished, we will let you know what it is. But we're getting a new fifth wheel this summer. So it's being ordered and built. So we had some plans for this trailer, but we're holding off on them in order to implement them in the new trailers. So we're going to probably get some decent solar and maybe some lithium batteries. But we're generally pretty basic people.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot that we need outside of what the RV comes with. I tend to find that the more... Oh my God.
Sorry about that. We're the camera that we're using is on my phone, even though it's plugged into our computer.
Oh my God.
And somebody called me, which froze the camera.
Somebody's trying to call and talk to you,
So don't call me if you're on here.
Somebody trying to talk to Mr. Efferson during his live. I tend to find that too many gadgets, too many things.
Well, look, we love gadgets, just not ones attached to the trailer.
Jason loves gadgets. Abby loves not gadgets. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just, like, what I was going to say is I feel like when we have a lot of gadgets, we don't use them. It's just a lot of, like, it's just one more thing.
She really likes to give me a hard time over of my camera when I take a picture, and it takes me 10 minutes to send her the picture, and she's like, I could have taken this picture from my phone.
Listen, okay, so today I'm putting together the thumbnail image for the latest episode of RV Miles on YouTube, and we create those images over in a program, and we had snapped a picture of the two of us in the clam when we recorded that episode so we could use it for the thumbnail photo. And I said, do you have it? I need to get it. And he's all, I don't remember what it's named. I don't know where it is. I think it was on my camera. I need to go look into my computer. And it took 10 minutes when all I was like, if we just taken this with my phone, you could have just airdropped this to me by now and I would be done with this. So when we record RV Miles this week, we're snapping that pic from our phone. Okay?
When do you think we'll see a completely electric powered Tesla-like RV?
You literally blew right through that because you didn't like that it was not a good tech.
No,
It was not good tech.
We'll do it your way.
Darn right we will.
I think we'll start seeing completely electric RVs, small ones, very, very soon, within the next 2 years, from boutique companies. But it's going to take a while before they're really realistic and really have the distance. It really comes down to that they have the distance to drive the range to drive in a day and be able to charge overnight and that sort of thing. But eventually we're going to be to the point where it's going to take a while. It's going to probably take 10, 15 years, but where solar powered roofs will be able to charge batteries up enough to run an RV. The battery technology improves so quickly year after year. It's at a weird plateau right now. So there's got to be a major breakthrough, but there's already talks of several major battery breakthroughs coming down the pike that could help with some of those things.
So Brian wants to know if we know where we're going after we pick up the fifth wheel.
Well, we could tell you, but it would change, so why does it matter?
Well, I love it. It's like, so out in June, I know you don't know where you're going in like 5 days.
We're going to be hopping around family in the Midwest through the middle of summer.
Yeah, so as long as everything continues to hold, and we think that it should, we'll feel good about being able to see family this summer. And so the plan is what has always been in the past was that prior to 2020 was that we usually tried to spend the 4th of July holiday season between his parents in the Quad Cities and my parents in Kansas City. So that is kind of the plan. We had thought after that was all said and done, so that was going to take us this year. We probably won't get out of the Midwest until the beginning of August. We had thought that we would head west, and that is still the intention, to go west. And our goal was to go to Utah. We wanted to do Utah. I tried, I don't know how many days in a row about a week and a half ago to try and get space at Zion for September.
That's just not happening.
Right at 10 a.m., window open, site selected. Literally all I had to do was hit buy. Couldn't get it. And it's such a limited number of spaces now for us because of the size of our rig. So we're rethinking that. Jason really wanted to go to Moab because he has this dream of driving the Terminator all over Moab's creations.
I don't care where we go. I don't want to. I don't. I mean, I just want to be in beautiful places. That's all I care about.
Yeah, so for me, I don't want to be in the Midwest. I don't want to be in the Midwest for fall. Fall in the Midwest starts off really nice, and then here comes the rain, and here comes the cold rain, and then everything gets nasty, and everything gets gross.
Well, we could be in early fall.
And I want to be west. I'm tired of being cold. I'm tired of being in winter. I have an RV. I don't have to do that anymore. And it seems like we've never been able to not do that.
David, welcome. David wants to know, thank you so much for that. David wants to know about Wi-Fi plans we've seen for part-time RVers. We're using this new plan from a company called Travel Data, and that's their name, right?
Or Travel Data.
Or Data, however you want to say it.
I mean, it depends on if you're on the Starship Enterprise or.
And it's one of these third-party reseller where they send you the unit, and those are kind of the best ones, really, for unlimited. And it's through T-Mobile, and I want to say it's $90 a month. And it's been working out really, really well for us. But the best thing really is to have multiple carriers. So we have that through T-Mobile. We have an unlimited AT&T through another company, and we have 2 Verizon phones. And
we're on campground Wi-Fi right now.
And believe it or not, this campground Wi-Fi that we are on here at this park is lightning fast. They have a 5G router, and it is the fastest Wi-Fi I've seen anywhere.
I want to go up and I feel like I want to ask them about it and tuck it away for when we build our own campground someday. Because
which is somebody just said we should build that campground that we were debating.
When the RV community gets tired of looking at our mugs and they're like, y'all need to go find something else to do with your lives, we will hopefully open a campground, and then you will all be welcome to come stay at it. That would be awesome. We had another question. Someone wants to know the table that we use in the clam. The last two episodes, if you watched the RV Miles podcast, episode 190 and 189, we were actually sitting at the picnic table at our campsite because we were able to set up the clam over that, because we had a very small space, so we couldn't really spread out. Other times we are just using this collapsible, adjustable.
So Walmart
table.
Lifetime is the brand. One of those Lifetime plastic white tables, but it folds down and the legs adjust to different heights, so it can be like coffee table level or go up to actual table level.
Yeah. So, and I think that was like, I don't know, $25, $30, something like that. I just wanted to jump in here and I just wanted to acknowledge this as well. And I just wanted to say thank you. That again, like, that's really, really kind. And I just could not let that slide by without saying thank you. Thank you very much. Someone also suggested if you're on YouTube that you, as the young kids are saying, smash that like button, which is the thumbs up button.
We always forget to tell people to like. Please hit the like button. Yes.
Yeah, just smash it. My children are in the back room right now, horrified because I'm using their
They can't
young
hear
kid
you
lingo.
because they're on their headphones.
Because they're smashing like buttons back there, watching probably Minecraft videos.
Dark Nomad is living full time in a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon
Whoa.
with a camper top, and yes, you can get to where everybody can get.
You are getting to where I will never go.
Met the Black Series trailer. I have literally talked to those people and said, if you make a 35-foot bunkhouse in a Black Series, I will be buying that. I don't care that it's huge. I will buy.
Look, my dad is telling you right now, get those tires up. But Dad, he bought that truck for the tires.
Their tires are fine now that they've worn in. This is from what I've heard from everybody, is that they just have a crown until you get 3,000 miles on them, and sure enough, we got 3,000 miles on them now, and they're fine.
I thought for a hot second that this was my mom, and that she'd given herself a name on YouTube. So just
Nana's Nana.
Nana's Nana. So my mom goes by Nana with her grandkids, and so when I saw that, I thought, oh, Mom's given herself a little YouTube name, has she? But then I saw the word traveling, and I realized that was not my mom.
Norris, we covered this early on, so rewind and you'll hear about it. But basically, it came down to we had some issues, but turned off the trailer, the electronic sway control, solved them all.
Ron got it. Ron heard it. Somebody else got my little Star Trek slide in there. That's good stuff. Thank you to everyone who is leaving a comment and also asking here we go. Question, do you see equipment supplied in a new rig now becoming obsolete and non-functional in a relatively short time, 2 or 3 years, maybe?
Some of the stuff like Wi-Fi routers that are installed on your roof, I don't think that is something to pay attention to when you're buying an RV, because I say this all the time. I wish that the RV manufacturers would supply us all with a port to the roof that was weatherproof, that we could open up, and a place to install whatever we want on the roof and run the cables through. But that's the kind of stuff that gets obsolete. That's why I don't like it to be attached to the trailer. But for the most part, the equipment they're putting on most of these things is the same.
You know what I think might be obsolete, though, is the 50-watt panel. Solar panel.
Yes, that's another thing.
I think it's obsolete already.
We're seeing lots of manufacturers providing the very basic minimum. Here's this one has solar on it, and it's a 50-watt panel, which doesn't run anything.
I do think that we're going to see more and more accessibility to solar, and that just even the drop in prices over the last few years has been pretty drastic. So I do think we might start to see an increase in solar availability on RVs in affordable brackets, even all the way down to entry-level RVs, because I do think that is going to become more affordable. And it won't be, I think it'll probably end up still just being maybe a 100-watt panel. But I think that the 50 watt is going, like, pretty soon dealers are not even going to want to say that because they know they're going to get laughed out of the trailer.
90% of RVs sold are travel trailers, and are trailers, I should say. And of those, another 90% of those are travel trailers, and the other 10% is fifth wheels.
I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
What I want to say is that for some reason the manufacturers have got it into their heads that the people that want the high tech stuff are in motorhomes, and the people with trailers don't want that stuff. And hopefully they're coming to realize now that a lot of people buy trailers just because they have a truck. It's not that they're, if you have the money, you get a motorhome. But a lot of these people have $90,000 trucks, and they're like, well, I'm going to buy a trailer to pull with this thing, right? And so, I don't know. For some reason, the manufacturers have decided that those people, that they don't want lithium batteries from the factory and stuff like that. And I think we're going to start to see, hopefully, a little bit more of that stuff in trailers that you see in motorhomes.
So, David.
Yes!
We had 2 packages waiting for us when we checked in today.
When we checked in this one, yeah.
Yeah, so not only do they allow you to have packages here, you can have them arrive before you even check into your campground. In fact, we had 1 package show up, and they were so sweet. They called us Friday, because we didn't check until today. I think it was Friday or Saturday that they called. And they just were like, just wanted to let you know your package is here, and it'll be here for when you guys check in on Monday. And I started ordering all the things. Amazon was like, uh-oh, Abby has package delivery again. So, yes, not only do they allow it prior to even checking into their campground. They are awesome.
Stan, amen. I don't even like...
What?
Some of them still put DVD players, and look, I would love a Blu-ray player, but again, that's something I'm going to buy separately, right?
No, because we just use our Xbox.
You don't have to build it in.
Give me the storage space.
I don't need your crappy speakers that you've put in that you're calling decent. I don't need any of it. But I do understand, like, the off-grid needs for not having internet and you want to have entertainment. But DVD players, at least get a Blu-ray player. Come on.
Or as our kids call them, DVDs.
Thank you so much, Ron. And thank you so much,
Three
Cat Travelers.
Y'all, that's so great. Thank you. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I can't say it enough. We really appreciate it. I'm grabbing this question here. Am I? There we go. How do the boys like traveling full time? I think the boys like it in the way I would expect 7, 10, and 13-year-olds to like it. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. Most of the time they don't. I think it's just pretty neutral. I don't know if that makes sense. I think they like their environment almost exactly the same way they would like their environment if we were just in a sticks and bricks. I don't think much about their life is different than I don't know. That's a tough one. We expressed a few podcast episodes ago that we were going through a season here in Ranger Gandalf Trailius.
COVID's been rough. I mean, obviously that's been a challenge all around.
COVID's been rough, and it's created it's created this almost like just complete disinterest in going anywhere. I mean, like, to the point of, like, why are you trying to drive me to go pick up some food? I don't want to leave the house. So, because we're often just homebound and we're not as active as we were, that has been a little bit of a challenge for when we do want to be active, because people are very comfortable with, once they get their responsibilities done for the day, well, then the day is theirs, and that generally means for them, and we're fine with this, but that does generally mean for them, like, playing games on the computer and talking to their friends online and, watching videos and playing Xbox and, running around outside and doing whatever they want. And so then when we say, hey, we're going on a hike today, people lose their flippin' minds. So right now, this is a somewhat
We need
hard
some
season.
internet detox.
Right, and we're not going to get it here because the internet is like lightning fast. So I can't say anything. Do we have any other questions? What is this? Waterproof roof port is a great idea. Not a fan of multifunction control panels unless manual override switches are also installed.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
So what about getting a package delivered to the campground you open?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, you know what? Actually, I love this idea. Someone suggested this, and I wish we had thought about it when we were talking. And that was creating an Amazon locker.
Making your campground an actual hub.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or, yes. So having it either, maybe it's, right as you come into the property or however you set it up. But setting it up so that there is an Amazon hub at the campground, because that will eliminate me, the campground, out of at least that particular conversation. Because, I don't have any statistics on this. This is an Abby poll, but I would think that the majority of packages that do come to a campground are coming via Amazon because of 2-day Prime. I mean, I know that that's why I'm doing, able to do what I'm doing, because I can get these things in 2 days because I'm only here for 6. So we would allow packages. How could we not? I mean,
it's silly. I mean,
how could we not?
Campgrounds. The thing is, you have to offer kind of the similar services that people would expect at a hotel, right? You would never expect a hotel would not receive a package for you. That would be out of the question.
It just,
But so your question about seeing manufacturers better build options for when you order upgrades like you could get from dealers and manufacturers. This has been one of the issues. One of the friction points right now is the fact that forever the vast majority of RVs were bought by dealers. Right, the customer of the manufacturer is the dealer, not the end user. The dealers are buying the unit, so the dealers are picking the packages. So you'll see lots of them offer all these different packages. There's you'll go and look at a unit online, and there are 4 different packages, all of them required. And so why is it a package? But now, with inventories being stripped low last year, there have been so many customer orders. I think you're going to see a sea change where there's going to be more and more. Customer orders are going to continue, and the car industry is seeing the same thing, where they've actually realized in the automotive industry that it's more profitable for them to have less vehicles on a dealer lot and have more orders. So I think you're going to see the shift towards orders improving the options available on RVs.
I just wanted to say, I won't highlight it, but yes, Dad, I read it that way too. LOL, LOL. Let's jump onto that. What would be the best sustainable power system for a full-time office studio? I don't know. When you find it, let us know.
So a lot of people ask us how we're able, because a lot of the boondocking we do, we don't end up using our generator. We run off our batteries and stuff. The best thing is for us has been to be able to have everything that we need USB powered, so that we have all sorts of options for charging. We can go charge in the truck. We can have portable USB batteries. We can use the USB ports in the RV, and just be able to run off of it, so that we never have had a need for an inverter. And inverters are nice for the right power systems, and if you've got the money to spend on a big power system, they're essential. But we've never had the need for one, because everything we use runs off of USB. It's all DC, and you don't lose the electricity, because when you convert from DC power to AC power, you lose, and then you're converting again back to DC. So if you plug your laptop into a wall outlet and you've got an inverter running, you're losing like 10 to 15% of the power by inverting that power, and then you're losing another 10 to 15 from your computer converting it back to DC. So like our laptops are Mac, so they can just plug in with a USB-C cable, and that's been really convenient.
I know, and our kids keep trying to talk us into buying PC laptops, and I'm like,
well, you can do that with
don't
a PC.
at me with that.
You can do that with a PC laptop, and it's just easier with Macs sometimes. But with a PC, you just have to order a different cable.
Yes, Ron. We are still in the Smokies, and we will be here for one more week, and then we start heading towards Charleston. Nana wants to know, and Nana is also a Nana and a traveling nurse, and thank you very much for the service that you provide and for caring for so many people across the country. We appreciate you. She wants to know, where is the one place you haven't been yet, but is at the top of your must-go-to place? You first. I
think Olympic National Park would be at the top of my list right now.
I think at the top of my list would be Maine.
We've done very little in the Northwest or the Northeast. Actually, nothing in either of those places. Yeah. So we've done the whole triangle of the lower half of the country and Midwest, but not the Northeast and the Northwest.
So I would love to go to Maine, and I would love to spend a long time in Maine and do a bulk of Maine. I will also say, and this was the very first thing that popped into my head, even though I have been there, but there's a very, very strong desire that I have now that once Broadway turns its lights back on, I want to go to Times Square. I want to go to a Broadway show. I want to go to a show in Chicago, even though I've seen and done those things a million times. But the day those lights come back on and our friends get back on those stages, I want to be there, and that is on my heart and on my bucket list, and I really, really hope that happens in 2021. So here's one for you, Jay. What video editing programs do you recommend?
So, like a lot of people, I think I started off with using free stuff, like what I can't remember the name of the free program that comes with Macs, iMovie, for the longest time, and then I switched to Adobe Premiere, which I used for a long time but found clunky and difficult, and now I use DaVinci Resolve, which is a surprisingly very functional free program, like high quality free program that then you can pay for the full license for a few extra features, but most people can get everything they need out of the free version. It's called DaVinci Resolve, and it's a very professional. A lot of most like Hollywood colorists use it, but it's becoming more and more popular for editing as well. It's fantastic, and I've really, they all take some time to learn, but I've been really happy with it.
Just really quick, I wanted to let Sherry know that so far our mirrors are fine. And that's only because we haven't been in Texas.
The only scratches on our truck are in the bed, and we're hoping to get that remedied soon with the spray and bed liner.
It's amazing how much we care about this truck. It's almost to the point of frightening. So someone to know if, and we did talk a little bit about this, I think it was on episode maybe 186, I think was our If We Built a Campground episode of the RV Miles podcast. You can find that on YouTube, or you can find that on wherever you listen to podcasts. But if we did do a campground, I think we would probably do it from scratch. If we could afford to.
It's that's the thing, is sometimes you can get a really good deal on like a rundown campground that has the infrastructure in place and has the, there's already got the licensing and approval and all that sort of stuff. That's kind of the more challenging stuff. So you're seeing right now a lot of people that are what?
I'm really tickled by this next one I'm about to pop
So you're seeing a lot of people right now that are buying older campgrounds and renovating them into, unfortunately, more expensive places often. But I think if we had our druthers and could do whatever we wanted, we'd build from scratch for sure.
Okay, I love this because it's not directed at you. It's directed at where do I...
How did you know?
Your t-shirt. I get this one, which I get a lot of compliments on. This one came from Target.
Most of them come from Target.
Yes.
This is most of them.
If they are not coming from our friends at LL Bean, then they are most likely coming from the 3-hour trip that Abby took when she got lost at Target. So that is where, and that's where I get Jason's shirts. And a lot of times I will call him, and sometimes I might FaceTime him and be like, hey, look, I'm like, I got like these 4 shirts, and some of these feel like me, because if I wish they made shirts like this for women. I don't understand why major retailers don't think women want things that don't have like gardening on them or wildflowers, or tell me to carry on and drink coffee. Like, okay, like all those things are fine. But can I not have a mountain scene? No. Can I not have a shirt that says camp?
You could just buy one from the men's section.
I could, but the smalls are still too long, and I need them.
That's fair.
So anyway, Target, $10. There you go.
We drove past the Tetons when they were covered in smoke.
Yes, so we heard they're pretty, but just what can I say?
You just did it again. You skipped ahead of everything.
No, I didn't. It's right there.
This is tough. There is not going to be some big immediate drop off in prices or availability, anything like that. It's going to take some time. I don't care what anybody says. It's going to take some time, no matter how it happens, for RVs to cool off a bit. So when that'll happen, nobody knows. And a lot of it is just availability. It's not just the demand. It's also the issues the manufacturers are having making them with supply chain issues. So it's going to be a while. If you want to do it now and you find the one that's right for you, do it now. Or do you want to wait 3 years and not RV for 3 years? It's up to you, but that's a personal choice that's tough to make. But the prices are high right now. They are.
Yeah. So let's grab. Look, we have the A stands for Abby. So this is the second time today that an Abby has crossed my path. There was
you spell it different, but it's close.
I do not have the E. I'm just ABBY. But it's also short for Abigail. What brand RV mattress would you recommend? So what we currently have on the bed in our room is from Wilderness Mattresses.
Wilderness RV Mattresses.
Yes.
It's great.
It's great. We are looking, I think, when we go into, when we upgrade to our fifth wheel, I think we're going to have to do a custom make on our mattress because of the slide issue. And we already know that the mattress on there is just not going to be suitable for full-time living. I'm sure it's probably great for like weekend stuff, but it's probably not going to be suitable for full-time. So we are looking into that. And but this one that we have right now
is one of the most comfortable mattresses I've ever. It's a hybrid. I think hybrids are really what I want in general. It's memory foam, but also has springs in it.
It weighs like a small baby elephant. Okay? It's heavy, but they do ship them compressed, which is great. And you just open it up and you're going to let it expand. But it is very heavy. It's a 2-person job, and I think that we paid around $600 for it. I think they had a sale going on at the time when I purchased it. I also thought it was really cool that I could use PayPal to purchase through them. I don't know why I was so enchanted with that, but I thought, oh my gosh, I don't have to go find my wallet. PayPal. I don't know if you care about that. There you go.
Dave and Laura, are you starting to see 12-volt compressor fridges supplied new in rigs that previously would have been equipped with absorption refrigerators? Not necessarily. Actually seeing them replace residential refrigerators more. And weirdly, sometimes they're called, if you actually look at on the manufacturer's website, they'll say residential 12-volt refrigerator, because there's this mentality that a lot of people have that they want a residential refrigerator, but the manufacturers have realized that these 12-volt refrigerators are better because they sip power and they last longer, and they're more meant to be in a moving rig. I don't think that they're going to replace absorption refrigerators immediately. for refrigerators immediately, but they should. They're fantastic. They really are.
So, I wanted to go back to this one. I missed it, but I thought it was a great question. Where would you want to open this campground that you speak of? I would like to open it in the West.
Somewhere pretty and somewhere near cool stuff.
I would like it to be a campground that could be open all year.
Yeah.
So that really would be the deciding factor. Everything else, again, a lot of it would just be so dependent on everything, including finances, but also some place that's really popular for RVers, easily accessible for RVers. There's this whole thing, but really something that could be open all year long is where I would like to be. I love this, that we should start a theater website for nomads, and then local theater companies throw up sort of like a hot takes. You just throw up your
travel wherever you're going.
Yeah, but it would be like, so let's say you're going into Seattle, and you could have something called like nomadtheater.com or whatever. And the theater companies could have a host of maybe like 4 or 5 tickets for their show that they put on there last minute. You can only get day of or like within 24 hours of the performance. And then it's specifically for those people who come into town, who are visiting, and you have to show proof that you live in an RV.
Yeah, that'll be real successful.
Come on, we've only had like 15 million different theater ideas.
I think the audience is a little too narrow for that.
I'm pitching that to Walter and Eugene.
That's a little too specific. Let's open it up a little bit.
I'm just saying. So Joe, actually Mattress Insider is who I'm talking to or looking at right now in regards to a custom. So I was excited to see you say that because I don't know anyone personally who has worked with them. So it's nice to see an exclamation point after their name.
Brian, remember, Brian, smart dude, Brian. Remember to open the compressed mattress in the room that you want it in.
Brian, I specifically left that whole part of my story out. Because I've already got to live with airbags tonight. I have to live with. So basically what Brian is saying is the story I shared on a previous podcast episode where this compressed mattress, Jason was in the hospital. And he was going to be coming home, and I wanted him to have something comfy to sleep on, so I had bought this mattress. I haul it. The kids, I think, were at the hotel, still with my parents. This is early days. Like, Jason had just had surgery, and we still had family here helping us. And I bought this mattress, and I brought it into our trailer, and I opened it in the living room. And then had to haul this beast of a thing. You can probably barely see it, but right there, I can't point. That's a door to one of our bedrooms, and our bedroom door is not much wider than that. And I had to, and it's not a walk around on our bed, so our bed comes all the way up to the doors. I somehow had to haul this thing in there, and I don't know, by like the grace of She-Hulk or something, I hauled that thing up onto the bed, and then for days my arms just burned. So, thanks, Brian.
All right, we gotta wrap this up here.
Is it almost 9:30?
It is almost 9:30. We've spent an hour and a half.
You guys, Eastern Standard Time is just the worst. Oh my gosh.
Do you want to cover anything else before we go, or do you want to just say goodbye?
No, I think that is it. I think we'll leave it with my mattress story.
Okay.
Because why not leave it with a fantastic story? Yeah, David, you're right. You're right. That was the wrong kind of workout on a mattress.
Well, thanks for joining us on that note. And you can always find us on the RV Miles podcast, which comes out once a week on any podcast app. It's also available on YouTube. We do all these little short videos on YouTube as well. And we do these live streams here once a month.
First Monday of every month, just for fun, to get together and talk about stories that embarrass us and learn something new. Like, I learned about airbags today. I was this many years old when I learned that you could buy something like that for a truck. If you have any questions for us, you want to drop them here in the comments. We will do our best to come back and answer them. Otherwise, we really look forward to seeing you on the first Monday of May. I think we'll be in Charleston, but who knows? Who knows where we'll be? Good night. Be well.
Good night and good luck.
Good night and good luck. There you go.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you next time.